Hey everyone, welcome. And as you know, I've ordered an RSeat Formula V2 cockpit. And with it, I ordered the S3M monitor stand, which is a matching stand from RSeat. So I'll tell you about all the options, my assembly process, as well as some of the pros and cons. Let's start going through and actually understanding what some of the options are. If you look at the RSeat website, you'll actually see quite a few options, and they can be a little bit confusing. There are the S3, the S3M, they have the T3L, the T3LM, the T3XL, and then there's the T3XLM. It took me a couple minutes to actually think through, like, what does this all even mean? Because it can be a little bit confusing in what the difference is. So let me walk you through all of those. So there's a single monitor stand, or the TV stand. It's called the S3 or the S3M. The TV version is the S3, and then the monitor version is the S3M, as the M sort of implies. The single, which is the S stands for single monitor, and then you have the T that stands for triple. Now the 3, I have no idea what it means, but I imagine it means the third iteration of TV stands or monitor stands that RSeat makes, because every single one of them says 3. So don't confuse the 3 with triples. So the S3 for TV, S3M's for monitor, and they support pretty big monitors. You can sort of see the cross beam at the bottom. This allows it to support up to a 49-inch monitor, which is quite heavy. And then you have the T3L, which is a smaller version, but it supports 2 additional monitors on the side. So there's no cross beam at the bottom here. You can see that it can support up to a 32-inch monitor. Three 32-inch monitors, or 29-inch ultra wide. If you want something bigger, say 3 50-inch TVs or 38-inch monitors, then you'll need the XL. And again, there are XL and XLM versions of those. Now, there are also colors. You can pick between a black, silver, and white. And it was the white one that I initially ordered. I wanted to make sure it matches with the Formula V2 cockpit that I ordered in white. However, the fiberglass of the cockpit would be in white, but the frame still remains black, as the customer service rep pointed out, thankfully. And I decided that the black piping of the TV stand should match the black framing of the cockpit. So I changed my order, and I am actually quite glad with my choice. The frame matches quite well, and it looks spectacular. Black framing, it would also match many of the accessories that, microphones or cameras or shifter mounts or other things that you might mount. So I figure that it will be a better, more prudent choice over the long term. And let me also tell you a little bit about the customer service for RSeat. And up until I received the message saying, hey, would you like the white color or the black one? Are you sure? I thought, RSeat customer service was pretty good. And after that, it just all went downhill. I received the cockpit, and then I tried putting it together. And you can sort of see more details in my previous video, but I basically ran into the issue where the rail was bent and I couldn't install it. And I messaged RSeat. They have a WhatsApp number for the customer service, and I messaged them, and they got back to me super quickly, within an hour. It's like, hey, we'll look into it. However, it's been over a week now, and I haven't heard back. I've messaged again, I've emailed, I've even put in a return authorization, an RMA request, and nothing. I haven't heard any action. Are they going to send me a new part? Are they going to send me a new nose cone? Because that metal beam, where it's bent, it's attached to the nose cone. I don't know how I can detach the two, even if they send me just a new rail. So I don't know what's going on. They haven't responded to anything. I called them, and all I've gotten so far is a voice memo saying, hey, we'll look into it. Thanks for your patience. And that's frankly not good enough for a $1,400 purchase where I can't use. So it's now sitting here, and I found a workaround and I figured something out, and I'll tell you more about it in the next video. But let me get back to the monitor stand. So as I put it together, the piping here is quite easy to assemble. The instructions are sloppy, right? The manual is quite sloppy. The details are not there to make it overly intuitive when it comes to describing which direction the pipe should go, but you sort of more or less figure it out. And initially I actually put some of the parts upside down by accident. And for example, the horizontal mounting bars, I accidentally mounted it upside down, and the monitor was adjustable tilting upwards, and I was like, this is quite weird. And well, the holes match and everything. So let's start unwrapping this thing. So when you first open the box, you'll see that each of the pieces are wrapped in lots and lots of plastic wrap and then taped up. So it is very frustrating to open. I may have mentioned this, I definitely have mentioned this in my past video for the Formula V2 cockpit. It's a little less frustrating than that one because there's no cardboard and there's no foam here. And eventually you're going to find an opening for the plastic wrap and you can sort of unravel like this. But up until that point, it is just so frustrating. And when you take a knife to it, it'll be a little bit faster, but you'll definitely scratch the tubing. However, even with the plastic wrap, there are still plenty of scratches that are not my fault. So it is unfortunate because despite the frustrating packaging, you would at least expect to have scratch-free product come in. And eventually we finally took out all the packaging and we're just left with the necessary, core materials here. And we start putting it together, and it's actually fairly simple. I definitely recommend finding a friend to help. It does really, really help to have two people put this together as you hold on to one thing and the other person does the fastening, or just somehow balancing this thing, because it doesn't really stand on its own until you put some of these beams together. And this is where you start installing the vertical piping. And once you slot that in, there are 3 adjustable height settings. And these adjustments are manual, screw, washer, and a nut. So there's no quick release. So measure the adjustments now. Look at your viewing angle, look at where your monitor is going to be, where you're going to sit, and do that calculation now. We found out the hard way. We installed everything, mounted the monitor, and then realized it's too high, and then we needed to push it down. But with everything on it, the piping and the monitor, it does get really heavy. And this is what it looks like once you put everything together. You have the horizontal bar here, which tilts upwards and downwards for different viewing angles. And then your monitor attaches to this VISA mount, which is 100 millimeter mount. And has a neat little RSeat logo, which is pretty cool. And then I'm trying this out with my HP 27-inch monitor as my work monitor, and it seems pretty sturdy. I'm still waiting for my 49-inch ultra wide. When that comes in, I'll be able to tell you how well this holds up, but I don't see any worries so far when it comes to the strength of this TV stand. It seems really sturdy, but that is it. And then I also adjusted the height. I noticed in here the height is way too high, so this is what it looks like now when it's adjusted for a Formula seat and with the steering wheel here finally mounted. So I'm still waiting for the PC, I'm waiting for the 49-inch monitor, And as soon as that comes in, I can't wait to get started. I'm super excited. But all the pieces are coming together, and I just got the pedals today, so I'm going to start mounting those too. So thank you again for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and think about hitting subscribe if you want to follow me on this journey as I put together this sim rig and get back into sim racing.